there was an apparition in 2009 in Cairo, which everyone, oh, the Blessed Virgin Mary's there, and we actually show this clip in my video presentations because it's 2009. I mean, it's only 3 years ago. You know, it's like almost 4 years ago. And what's fascinating about this, there's a Coptic church outside of Cairo, and this apparition appeared nightly for several weeks before it finally stopped appearing. And it drew thousands, tens of thousands of Muslims and Christians. They were all standing in the street, you know, chanting and clapping their hands and, you know, dancing, you know, this crazy stuff. And there it is, the apparition's there on top of the roof. It's this huge light, and you see what appears to be a female figure. It's just a female shape, but it's all luminous, and it's got like this blue mantle, right, which is supposed to be like a head covering, I guess, I don't know. And in it, next to it is like the smaller figure, which is supposed to be Jesus, and then Joseph, and then there's an angel, right? They're all just blobs of light, and they're there. I mean, this isn't a hoax. It's there night after night after night. The apparition appeared.
And when was this? Did you say 2009?
Yeah, if you want to get a picture of that, you just Google Marian apparitions 2009 Cairo, and it will come right out.
Wow.
You can see it. And the mayor was so vexed by this that he made sure all the power was turned off in the entire town, right? This is right outside of Cairo. Made sure all the power was turned off, so there's no way they could be hoaxed. There's no generator, you know, they're projecting Project Bluebeam. This thing's the real deal. And when it vanishes, it just kind of goes, sucks, it's like here, and it just sucks back, and it's just gone like that. And this appeared night after night after night after night. Now, is that the Mary of the Bible? No. With all due respect, that's not the Mary of the Bible. What are we told? Satan himself comes as an angel of light.
Yeah.
Is anyone there testing the spirits? No one's testing the spirits. They're all just going, oh, it's the Mary of the Bible. With all due respects to Catholics, they're saying the same thing. Now, the Vatican doesn't necessarily pronounce, yes, it was Mary of the Bible. But many Catholics will look at that and also look at what's happened at Medjugorje and say this is the Mary of the Bible. It's not the Mary of the Bible.
Yeah.
Just like the Fatima apparitions in 1917 were, in my opinion, not the Mary of the Bible. This is an imposter. In fact, when we go into some of the eyewitness accounts that were recorded in 1917 in Portugal, when this apparition was going, people said, I looked up and saw a silver disc. I looked up and saw a dull silver disc. The word disc, silver, dull silver disc, that combination of words is used to describe what they saw in the sky over and over and over again. And the Catholic Church, unfortunately, has obfuscated that and gone with the miracle of the spinning sun. There's no miracle of the spinning sun.
Well, back in those days, in the early 1900s, their UFOs weren't understood, and so you could look in the sky and go, well, maybe that could be a sun, but it looks like a disc to me. Different names in the Bible for the Queen of Heaven. Queen of Heaven is considered who was it? Ishtar, Nimrod's mother. She comes in different names. One is the Queen of Heaven. Diana is in I think the book of Ephesians in the New Testament.
Sure.
Isis. Easter is a name that unfortunately the Christians have adopted, which is a bad thing in my opinion. Ishtar,
real bad thing.
Yeah, Osiris, and what they did was they took the picture of the Queen of Heaven, Ishtar, Osiris, and made it Mary. And so now we have this thing in parts of Christianity where Mary is exalted as if she is a Queen of Heaven, and she's not. That's exactly what the Bible said not to do. Not to pick on any one church or anything like that, but some of these things that you're talking about, I think that there's a connection that in these last days there will be a deception, and I don't know if it was you that talked about it or somebody else, the connection between or how Mary will be interesting for even Islamic women to look up to because of the place she was first manifested, which is in Fatima. Can you talk about that?
Well, Fatima is actually named after Fatima, or Fatima, which is the daughter of Muhammad. So there's this whole, connection with the Islamic world. That's why the Islamists look at Mary and they don't worship her, but she's highly regarded. That's why when this apparition appeared in the Coptic Church, over the Coptic Church, Muslims and Christians are together. This could be a uniting point for a one-world religious system. In my opinion, these are stepping stones.
Yeah.
When the Great Deception really happens, it will be, they will show up, the so-called overlords, the occupants of the UFOs, and they will say, we created you, we genetically manipulated you, we started the world's civilizations, we started the world's governments, and now at this critical juncture in time, we are back to usher the human race into a time of peace, prosperity, and knowledge. And that's really what's about to happen. And I think it's going to happen sooner than later.
Yep. And as we talked about in our other show, this is in the Bible, the Great Deception. You want to talk about that for a moment?
Well, in the Bible, it never uses the word Great Deception. That's actually a term I coined in the second book of the Nephilim trilogy, the Unholy Deception, which came out, I think, in 2004. I called it the Coming Great Deception. Politics, Prophecy, and the Supernatural. The subtitle of that is called The Coming Great Deception and the Luciferian Endgame. What Paul warns us of in 2 Thessalonians, where he says Satan comes with all signs of lying wonders. And that's where I came up with The Coming Great Deception and the Luciferian Endgame. It will, look, we're told in the book of Revelation that everyone has this one world religious system. But that begs the question, how do you get 1.8 billion Christians, 1.5 billion Muslims, a billion Hindus, and everybody else under that to somehow sign up for this worldwide religious system? It makes no sense. Something so out of the ordinary has to happen. Something so dynamic, which will change the paradigm of every living soul on this planet. Except, Jesus warns us, even the elect would be deceived if that were possible. That's what's coming. Jesus, his words, even the elect would be deceived, hence the words, great deception. 2 Thessalonians says that it's called it the great falling away. That there will be a falling away, but the son of perdition will not be revealed until the apostasy. Now, some people will look at that word and say departure. Fine, I have no problem. But that's not the rapture. Looking at the word, apostasy can also mean departure. Apostasy, moving away from, departing from what was the faith. That's what it's talking about. It's not the rapture, not at all, in my opinion. So again.
Yeah, the following away is exact opposite of the rapture. It's people are going to be led away.
So this apostasy is the coming great deception.
Right. In your studies and looking into archaeology and different things you do, seeing big giants and which are the part of the fallen angel clan.
Sure.
In the Bible, it talks about Nimrod, and then when you trace all of these false religions, they really come from Nimrod, which is extremely interesting. When people start looking into it, it's real simple. Once you start looking into it, you can see lines going right back to Nimrod, and there seems to be a worship, again of the mother of Nimrod, who Nimrod also married, so it was also the wife of Nimrod. If that doesn't disgust people, I don't know what would. And this worship of a phallic symbol, which we see, in the Vatican, in the Washington D.C. What's that? Washington Monument. Even the Christmas tree. That's where that came from. See this in the future as a problem. The phallic symbol. The studies that you've had between with Nimrod and finding all these archaeologies and these false religions in the past, basically are these old things, do you see them becoming new things under this new age? Do you see a connection?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I just finished a book by Hunbat Smith. It was a Mayan elder and a shaman, and in that he talks about the Mayans engaged in what he makes a linguistic tie in his opinion between the Kundalini serpent yoga taught in India and what the Mayans practiced, Kundalini worship of the serpent. It's all the same nonsense from the same source. He also talks about ritualistic sex magic, which again is ritualistic sex magic. I can't make it any plainer than that. When you go back to Nimrod, and this is in the Cosmic Chess Match, and it says Nimrod became Gibborim. This is some of the work of Tom Horn. And in that, it says Nimrod became Deborim. Well, when you break down the Hebrew words, you can make a strong case that Nimrod became Nephilim, Gibborim, through ritualistic sex magic. Something happened. Something changed him. Now that's speculation, but Tom Horn and myself, we believe it. That's what happened.